So our next session is going to have maybe a little bit more of a pizzazz factor, because we're going to be talking about pizzazz. There you go. We're going to talk about pop and sizzle and whatever. So how many of you in the last couple of months have had a conversation about figuring out how to make your employment brand more potent and more powerful? Maybe people are worried about, just show of hands, worried about employment brands within your organizations and making them, more impactful. So I have a couple perspectives on this, and I'm going to introduce our speakers. So I used to work for a company called Connexa. It's now part of IBM. Connexa was one of the first big HR companies to go public. And we did really well. We went public in 2005, and by 2006, we had a market cap in excess of $1 billion. Okay, we had a lot of money. We raised in the IPO. We were doing great. We had RPO. We had all this technology, et cetera, et cetera. So we're all doing awesome. And we went and set up a development center and a recruiting center in India, so that we could move work. We had clients in Asia. We could move work around the world between development. The recruiting teams in India could work overnight while the folks in the US and Europe were sleeping, and vice versa. It's a great idea. And we went to Hyderabad. I don't know if you've ever been to Hyderabad. It's a lovely city in Andhra Pradesh. And we got a building there in a new office park. So we've been in the building for only about a month, and there was a building next to us that was being built. Started after us, but they build the buildings there really fast. I mean, just like in China. Like, these things just sprout overnight. They build the building, and one of the employees comes over to me and says, "Hey, they're uncrating the signs." So we walk over, and they have laying on the lawn where the crane is going to hoist it up to hang on the building. He said, "Have you ever heard of this company, Oligo?" And I walk over, and it says OLEGGOO. And I look down, and I go, "It's not Oligo, that's Google." And everyone's standing on, "What?" I said, "Yeah, we're next door to Google. We're recruiting engineers next door to Google." Okay, and they said, "What are we going to do?" I said, "We're going to need a way bigger sign." Okay? So you think about the power of employment brands. Even though Connexa was a leader in our space, how hard is it for us to recruit people in that community when we're up against an employment brand like Google? Now, we did it, by the way, because we were good at recruiting, by going out with an employment campaign in the area that said, "Connexa, your quickest path to management and leadership." And we said, yes, you can join a big company and wait years for the opportunity you can have with us in a few quarters. In our whole growth story and whatever. And that worked a little bit. I mean, but brands are really powerful. And how you get perceived is very powerful. And that's the subject of the next conversation. How, and the title is Perceptions Happen. Well, they really don't. It's up to us to manage it. And good talent acquisition today is as much about marketing as it is about any other aspect of recruitment. So our speakers are Stephen Abbott, who has been with People Scout for over 10 years, providing consulting services in a variety of areas, in best practices in recruitment, consulting services, and technology. He has more than 15 years experience leading recruiting teams, implementing best practices, and he's worked for a number of blue chip corporations, governments, non-profits. He's got a very deep and broad background. He is now their head of client delivery, and he's responsible for client delivery in APAC. He'll be joined for part of the presentation by Michelle Lung, who is the head of talent acquisition and development for Richemont. How many people have heard of Richemont? Okay, well that's good. There you go. Most they're better known for owning Alanga and Son Mercier, Cartier, Chloe, Dunhill, Montblanc. You know, actually, I'm like one of your biggest customers, so I should get a discount. We should talk about it. But they, you know, Richemont is actually the second largest luxury goods company in the world. Okay, everyone knows their brands. Not everyone. I'm pleased that you guys know Richemont. Michelle is currently the Director of Talent Acquisition for Hong Kong and Macau. Prior to that, she was with some blue chip firms such as Degon Global Credit, as well as worked for MSCI, and has worked in the global search industry in KL, Shanghai, Hong Kong, and also has a background in public relations. So Michelle is going to be joining Stephen for part of the presentation, talking about employment brand and how perceptions happen. And part of this will also be an interactive session. So get your thinking caps out. You're going to need them one more time. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce Stephen Abbott and Michelle Long.
Lucky last today. Alfie and I were discussing earlier. I said I had to say this obviously. He was, I won't say bemoaning, but we were talking about where you sit in the lineup, so to speak, and he had the post-lunch, potentially carb-heavy crowd. How do I get them awake? And I'm very conscious that we're between everyone and drinks. So we'll keep it quick, promise you. We're going to talk a bit about EVP. Nice example earlier about Google. Like it comes about pizzazz. I'm not too sure about pizzazz. I don't know if that was in the brief, but what we'll do is I'm going to talk a little bit about theory once we get this queued up. Give you some ideas on things to think about when you're viewing and thinking about EVP. Michelle's going to talk about some real life examples from her experience and where that fits within her environment and what she's done, which is great. I've got a few case studies of work that we've done, and then, like all the other workshops, we'll pass it over to yourselves to do a bit of work. Got a little case study for you to work through as a group, and then we'll be presenting back. So following the same format, but hopefully giving you stuff as a bit of a precursor to tomorrow as well, which I believe has got a number of sessions on branding. So we just got to find the right USB, I think, that might be on.
It was on here, mysteriously disappeared.
Mysteriously disappeared. But anyway, for those that don't know People Scared, so as I said, my name is Stephen Abbott. My role is Head of Client Delivery in APAC for People Scared. People Scared is a US business, headquarters US, the UK, and Australia. In Australia, we work with 16, 17 major organizations with full-blown RPO, and we have a technology arm as well with an ATS. We work closely and in partnership with our clients, full end-to-end acquisition, including EVP. So we used to be called HRX in Australia. We used to have a very dedicated EVP branding, marketing part of the business, if you like. That changed over time, but then recently, just before I was here last year actually, we purchased TMP in the UK, which is an employment branding specialist, and we're now leveraging our team in the UK to reintroduce that line into the business, if you like. So we run careers websites, we do the full talent acquisition process. Whether a technology client, we build, as I said, all of the branding and messaging, and really work with those clients who either want to redefine who their company is, but also potentially going through some change. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this works. There we go. So a bit about us, the sales pitch. I suppose everyone else has got a quick sales pitch, but I have to do something like that, or I'll be in trouble. Globally, 70 plus countries, 2,500 employees for us, and more than 300,000 hours per year. Bit about People Scared. Here in the APAC region, some of these clients may mean things locally as well. You might have heard of this one, HSBC. We run that for Australia. Some of these others, Siemens. Who else is on there that might be relevant to yourselves? Honeywell, Lend-Lease. So we're agnostic in industry. We work across a range of different clients with solutions designed to deliver for each one. Going back to Elliot's example as well, we have a service center based out of India that also supports everything we do. Okay, so let's think first around EVP, please. Earlier there was a lot of discussion around how you engage with talent. The Galfi was talking about the fact that some people want to work as contractors, some people want to be permanent employees, some people want a statement of work. More and more clients are having to reflect the talent landscape. And gone are the days where you offer a role that's accepted and all move on. So when we're thinking about branding, there's a number of ways that people interact with your brands on a daily basis, irrespective of whether you're a consumer or a B2B brand or somewhere in the middle. So, we think about a talent landscape in a linear level. Starting with this end, what I'd ask you to think about is strangers. These are people that probably know your brand, but probably through maybe consumer marketing. We're not going to talk about candidates, because these are not candidates. We're not talking here about people applying to your business. We're talking about how your brand resonates with them in the market and in their daily life as well. So along here, you can see that the dots, if you like, are points of contact, where you've got an opportunity to project and control a message and start to shape the perception that people have of your company. And this could be PR. In-store collateral, if you're a retailer, your biggest brand exposure, if you like, is that retail store that people see and connect with. They're coming in and they're experiencing something. And as we know, everyone makes a judgment, rightly or wrongly, from that interaction. So retail's a great one because you've already got an interaction, if you like, with your potential audience. Word of mouth. So bringing them in and moving them from being strangers to visitors. We've got ads on here. We've got radio and print as well. Print, for a lot of markets, not so. We're doing a campaign with a client in New Zealand at the moment who wants to hire drivers. They want to hire delivery drivers who deliver bread and milk to the supermarkets on a daily basis. Their big focus is on radio. Because what do drivers listen to all day when they drive around in the trucks? They listen to radio. So they're putting a lot of investment into radio rather than online advertising, etc. So they're tailoring that. But again, opportunities to connect. Pay-per-click, how you leverage that. Social ads, social media. They're now moving through from visitors coming into, ideally becoming candidates if the people that are of interest. More touch points as they engage, moving into an application stage. And even if it doesn't just start, it's not about just bringing people into your business. On the far right, for yourselves, employees, advocates, it's also what does it mean to people who work for your company now? So what is their messaging? How do they talk about the company? In Australia, we talk a lot about it's the barbecue conversation. When you're introduced, you say, oh, I work for someone. So they go, oh, yeah, well, what do they do? What's the instant reaction that people get from that? And how do people reference what the brand means to them? So it's a bit of a framework to think about, but it might help for tomorrow. I'm going to ask Michelle now to come in, and Michelle's going to give some real-life examples, I suppose, especially around the social piece and her experience within the brand.
Okay, testing. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Okay, first of all, this is a very detailed and thorough landscape, I think, yeah. So it's quite interesting looking at it. So I wanted to share, my story and my journey with my company. So with Richmond, right? So I know Elliot, you mentioned it was good to see quite a number of hands up when you ask who actually knows Richmond. Yeah, so that's good. But under Richmond, we've got different maisons, we call it, or brands, right? Ranging from our jewelry maisons like Cartier and Van to our watch maisons. There's a whole load of watch maisons from Lange, Jaeger-LeCoultre, Piaget, Vacheron, IWC, Panerai, all the way to our fashion and accessory maisons. So each of them have their own brand strengths. So if we start here, the in-house collateral. So a maison like Cartier, so it's very well known, real life, so people are aware of it. So when it comes to talent acquisition, it helps us a lot. So when we approach candidates has that perception in mind, they want to join Cartier because they're aware about it, yeah. So the word of mouth, so let me walk through, we don't do that much radio and print, so social media. So to share my experience with social media was back in 2018. I remember I was at a HR conference, and that time it was beginning of the year, it was in January, it was a goal setting. So we were all situated like that, in tables like that. And we all, one by one, we all had to stand up and say, what would we do differently in 2018? So I remember standing up and saying to everyone in the group, in 2018, I will share more on social media for employer branding. Yeah, so that's what I did. You know, I'm happy and proud to say so I started with LinkedIn first, because it's the easy access. I've got a LinkedIn, account myself, I've got a LinkedIn career account. So I just started sharing a lot of the things that we do in the company. So people's aware of the culture. Whether it's just the fun activities that we're having, the team building, the CSR activity, but from there I could see we gain a lot of visibility and engagement. So I get a lot of people reaching out to me. I arouse the curiosity in people, right? So you can see under engagement part, social media, they're still visitors, they're not candidates yet, but they're curious. They see us having fun all the time, etc. And then if we move on to the candidates part, because the one-on-one engagement, this is something personally I feel strongly about, the whole candidate experience when they come in. So with the whole talent acquisition team, what matters a lot to me is when I see candidates coming in to interview with us, if I see them sitting too long at the reception, okay, waiting to be interviewed, that for me is a red flag, that's an issue. I'll reach out to my team members, who are these candidates? Because we need to put ourselves in the candidate's position, right? So when you come in for an interview, you need to be treated with respect also. As a hiring manager, as an interviewer, you should not be late to meet the candidate. Because I've been guilty of it also, okay? But I'm pretty sure if you're having a meeting or an interview with the CEO, you're not going to be late. But perhaps as a candidate. So I think probably a lot of people in the room have been guilty of that. And another thing that comes to my mind is also not reading the CV of the candidate beforehand. So how many of you are actually guilty just reading the CV 5 or 10 minutes before the candidate comes in for an interview? I know I am. Yeah, so I'm just, that's the truth. So we shouldn't do that. We should really sit down and take the effort and make the effort, because that all ties into the engagement part. So when you have done your own research or background on the candidate and the candidate's CV, the candidate will know, that you have put in effort and time, and how he or she was treated, whether we get back to him or her with feedback on time. It could be a yes, it could be a no. Human beings, myself, I just don't like an uncertainty. So welcome to reject me if you think I'm not the right candidate, but just let me know. Just don't hold me on there and not give me an answer. So that's the candidate bit. Yeah, so if they're engaged. So this community forum, that's really interesting. So from my own experience in Richmond is something that I created also called, so we're a retail company. So last year we tried something, different. It was great because the company was very, very supportive. We've never done it before. So it's because the team has been working very, very, very hard through the usual sourcing channels. So whether it's, job boards, career websites, employer referral, so that's under advocates, I would say, or, etc., using LinkedIn, using agencies, etc. So we want to try something different whereby we created a retail community. Right? So what that means is, this is all about community these days, and human beings likes to be included in the community, whether it's online or offline. So we tested it out by starting small. So what that means is, once every quarter, we will invite people from the retail industry, right? People or candidates we regard as top talents. So they could be, and we may not have roles necessary for them right now, but they are potential talents for us in the future. Right? We invite them together for a drinks gathering whereby we, network with them, build a relationship with them, share best practices, etc. So we've been doing it now for 3 quarters already, and it's been going very well. So feedback from candidates or people that turn up are also good because it gives them a glimpse into our company. they can see the sort of people that work for our company, they can ask questions, they interact with us. So that's the community that we built, in Richmond. Then we go through it, then they become employees. Of course, we're hoping they will all become, advocates like myself and everyone, that we share the same kind of passion and, love for the company. All right? And any questions, or we can leave it to the end? So, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. And two things I just want to take out from that. One, social media. Clearly easy to advocate. I call it just now, take a photo of her pass with the little microphone as well, ready to put it on Instagram, so clearly a user. And interesting to hear your comment around building the community. It's something we're doing within retail as well. Very different client, very different group for a furniture manufacturer and retailer in Australia. But we're running breakfasts in regional areas, and we target all the local competitors that we want to meet. And we get all the store managers to come along and have a breakfast and meet the leadership team. And it gets people engaged. So it's another good way to manage the brand. So a bit of food for thought, a bit more theory, and then we'll give you some examples before we move on to the session. EVP attributes. So what is your employee value proposition? What does it mean? So really you've got to go back and think about what you perceive your business being, but also importantly, we'll look in a second around what the people in the business feel. So when we think about the attributes, rewards, financial and non-financial obviously, opportunity, work, people, the organization, these are all things that contribute towards that. And the important quote here, I think, is it's the set of attributes that the labour market and employees perceive as the value they gain through employment in the organisation. You've got a contract between yourself and the employees, and they have a contract with the company. So what is the value that you're getting out of that? And it's an attraction tool, but it's a commitment tool as well. So you can bring people into the business, you can have the best story in the world, but if it's not true once they start, they're out the back door pretty quickly. So how do you bring them in, but how do you make sure that what you're talking to is true and relevant? The EVP is at the heart of your brand. So the sweet spot where your unique culture meets the target audience, motivators. It's a place where the competition can't go. You've got your competitors who are out there that, we heard about the war for talents, and talents won, and everyone's trying to get the same people. So what are your internal drivers, your external motivators that make your business special for the right people? What can it deliver? There's been a lot of talk today about financial return, financial ROI. How do you sell this internally to the bean counters? How do you get cash out of them? Some numbers here for you. Numbers are great, you can tell any story you want, but organizations with an actively managed EVP increase the pool of potential talent by 50%. You're building communities and you're messaging into that pool. 63% felt investment had enabled them to reduce third-party recruitment spend by a minimum of 10%. Recruitment agencies are obviously out there, a lot of clients, they want to spend less, they want to control the messaging as well. I'll come into that in a second. 59% of employers felt EVP investment had enhanced engagement by a minimum of 10%. The recruitment agency piece is interesting. Something we talk to clients a lot about is controlling the message. So really, do you want the message to be from your business to the end user, or do you want to be diluted down through that process? So as much as you can control that, it helps you protect what's getting out in the market. And rightly or wrongly, again, perception is reality. So where do you start? We looked at that wiggly road earlier, lots of touch points on there. You get so many media points with social media, with Glassdoor, with LinkedIn, with Instagram, blah, blah, blah. How do you try, and you can't control them all, so what do you do? Number one, agree the objectives. What are you trying to do here? Is this a recruitment? Are you trying to fix recruitment? Are you trying to influence recruitment? Or is this an internal engagement and retention, or is it both? So let's understand what we're actually trying to do. Number two, discover. So understand the internal and external perceptions. And that's focus groups. That's getting independent people in to talk to your business and understand where the gaps are. And more often than not, there will be a considerable gap between what the people at the top think the EVP is and what the people further down the tree think the EVP is. So So there's always an implied EVP, and you get people say, well, we're great because blah, 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 blah. But when you go in and speak to people who are doing a job, quite often that's not what they're feeling. It's not what keeps them in the organization. And these focus groups, again, you learn lots of really interesting stuff. We did one with a client that always sticks out in my mind where this was an energy business, and they were brilliant. Their problem wasn't recruiting, their problem was no one left. So their benefits were through the roof. If you joined, you got 2 gym memberships. One near the office, and one because you might want to go to one near your house as well. So you can join 2 gyms, and they pay for it. They supported people to go through stop smoking campaigns, which I remember someone in the room said, I just think that's brilliant. And someone said to me, well, are you going to stop smoking? And I said, no, I'm going to stop smoking, I just think it's really good care. You know? So it worked for them. Visualize and validate. Start visualizing. Some people like to put a persona on it. You can do that. You're moving now into how you're going to creatively project it. We've worked with some clients that then start to think as well about ideal candidates, and the ideal candidate is Claire, or the ideal candidate is Bob, and who's Bob, you know? Trying to think about that. And test it. Test it internally. Test it with your market. Test it cross-culturally. Create, and for agree and finalize your brand. And then activate. And this is where you start to think, what are the channels that you're going to get the best bang for your buck from? Obvious place to start is corporate sites and your career site. But then how do you influence and how do you start to, if you like, filter that through the other channels that you're using? And there's 2 angles here. There's one which is the channels that you control. So these are company branded channels if you like. So that is the branding the ads. It's the PR, it's the message you put out. The more challenging one is how do you start to try and influence what people are saying about you? So that could be Glassdoor. If you go on, I had a look yesterday, if you go on the Microsoft Careers website, they've got a big ticker with their Glassdoor ratings, so you can see what they are. Now, we work with some companies that would never do that because no one would apply for this one. So, you know, it depends on what it is and your confidence within the brand. Obviously, they've got an incredibly strong brand. And measure and optimize. How do you then start to measure the impact that your work is having? Because if you can't measure it, you can't go back and ask for more money, you can't show that things are working. So if you're going to be trying to do that, you've got to be able to understand, is it working? But also, if it's not working, what can you tweak? Where can you change? Scorecard, how can I measure? There's a lot of information on there, not expecting you to read it, but some of the things, quality of hire, could be a bit subjective sometimes, but retention rates, that's a pretty easy one. Everyone manages that. Cost per hire, that was mentioned earlier. How much does it cost per hire? Or avoidance of cost. How much money have we saved? Because we're not spending all this money on recruitment agencies now. We're not spending all this money on this other supplier. We're not spending all this money on advertising channels that just don't work. So have a look at your return on investment. Basic awareness. You're getting into real marketing speak here. Again, running focus groups with the external market. But do people understand your brand? Have they heard of it? With an example there where lots of people have heard of the brand. Are they familiar with it? And on the far right, employee referrals. Are people proud to refer people they know to your business? If you get nothing through the channel, it tells you something. So would your good hires introduce other people and recommend that they join the business? And also social media activity. So it's not a complete thing, but what I encourage you to do is think about which of these are relevant to your business and how do you pull them in. Okay, we'll show you a couple of creative examples, and then what we'll do is we'll do the table exercises. This is an example for a bank. This is an Australian bank that we worked with. They're a challenger brand. They were moving to the other side of the country. Australia's got 4 major banks. This was not one of the major banks. And their remit to us actually was, the head of sales remit to me when we started working with them was, I want to get a cease and desist legal letter from one of the big banks saying, stop chasing our staff, please. So we did a lot of proactive work, but they were also trying to change what it meant to work in banking. You can't read this. This is a predetermined letter of resignation. There's an ad. Someone just fill the name out and send it to the boss, explaining why they got to work for the bank. This was based on, these were ads that we put on buses and trains, hitting the commuters. They had a strong bonus. they were really shaping it up. So they had a very strong message around we're doing something different, and we want to attract people who might not have thought about working in banking before, or people who work in banking and are just bored. Now these are all campaigns. The Victorian Police, so Victoria in Australia, where Melbourne is, we work with them. They were looking to increase the numbers of trainee cops coming in. So we designed a campaign that really spoke to people. This, again, you might have this. The tagline here is, I got arrested 5 times, I got locked in a cell, bundled in a police van, I swore at a police officer. What did you do at work today? So this is what they're doing through training. And really pulling in, obviously working for the police, it's a very emotional thing, it's a very socially responsible piece, so focusing on that, and that was based off the focus group we ran with new recruits, is, well, why do you work for the police? What's the attraction? Why are you coming aboard? And this is Virgin Media in the UK. They were looking to go out with something different, looking to really talk to, the Virgin brand speaks for itself almost, so it resonates with people, so they worked upon that. And this flows all the way through to, this is onboarding, this is online onboarding. The brand spoke to people in a very personal way that connected with the demographic they were looking for. And if we think about some of the ROI, 27% less agency usage on senior and specialist roles, that's money in the bank for them. And referrals up 24%. So again, a brand that's resonating, and that's been built out through a full toolkit, if you like, where the EVP starts from the employee has right through to the conversations the hiring manager has, through to the PDs, through the assessment process, right through to people's development plans. There's a solid line, if you like, that connects them all together under the brand, so there's no miscommunication around it. Okay, so that was a bit of theory, a couple of ideas. What we'd like to ask you to do now, on your tables, you can mix it up. If you've got a small table, join up, it's up to you. Choose one of the companies that someone on the table works for. If someone's willing to nominate their own business. And as a group, think about the key EVP themes. So we've got a few examples of things here you might want to think about. So career progression might be something, community support might be something, maybe a business does it, maybe they don't, I don't know. Work-life balance, what does that mean? It means different things to different people. So as a business, is that something that you want to talk about? Recognition and reward, team and culture. Work equipment, bit of an odd one. But you hear about people who turn up to this shiny, brilliant business and they get there, they get handed a old Nokia phone, or you get a laptop, it's a brick, and you've got to go traveling with it. So really, again, it's a perception of how you as a business invest in people. That may be very important for you. And then operating style. Hierarchical, flat structure, really, what style of business are you and how do you communicate that? So you don't need to use them all. There's categories that you're thinking about. But what we'd like to do is come up with number one, 3 value proposition factors. And if you want to take the next stage, combine them into a single message to candidates. You maybe already have that messaging for your business, that's fine. Use that as your discussion point. But think about how you communicate what your brand, your business stands for. And then, obviously, we'll come around and put someone on the spot from each table and get some feedback on it. So we'll give you 15 minutes, that's right. Okay.
Let's take company first. One of the company, and then try to think of some of those ideas. It's really interesting. We just had a conversation about you last week. One of the stuff that we talked about is diversity. Kito, you do a lot of training. What is your
So what do you guys do in general?
Yes. What does that mean? I think what can I start is so applicable, personal industry. But to be fair, people like generally people to come to us for better work. So I think like for audit, probably no, but
It's a no-no, isn't it?
No, so you don't have to stick to the one role. The idea is one company. What are the kind of drivers that the organization is trying to get? And that would
But I think Singapore now
what kind
is
of value proposition you want to include in your strategy.
apart from the local banks, they still only have 10 OCBC, OP, DBS.
That's sort of like
So that would be
like returning
a long training
so we
week,
know
right? And you see,
even though they already left us, we still want to
you guys have a lot of bank holidays here,
one of
right?
usually when we tie with the idea of like our internal employees, alumni, etc., we always bring up our global celebrities.
Fridays are
Yeah. So that's typically why we bring up with that. Then also operating style, like we have a really friendly environment.
Is that team and culture? The team and culture, and also
When you're working here, you can be yourself.
yeah, same with 11.
So that's why you have that.
There's actually a bank holiday on Wednesday, but I'm here. Actually, might want to inquire if I get that day. Do you have any branding that you apply? Do you have any like modules or
Good experience.
but how do we do
do you do it all countries?
And is it just around the number of people hired, or do you also have some metrics around the number of people interviewed, promotions,
I would say it's not at the stage of talent acquisition. It's mostly when someone's already in the firm, and then we work on the engagement index, and we will have that metrics in place because we form all sort of with networks like professionally based network.
Is that something you pitch
LGBT,
potential candidates if you get
like working parents, cross generation. So that's more
What
when you come in.
Yeah,
But at the entry level, when you join the company, then we don't really have this KPIs imposed on each manager direction. So that's where we have to make sure you have interview like 100% of candidates. We don't have that imposed. So it's more on like a competency base. It's not
Are you involved in employee branding?
I can hardly connect it. I can hardly connect the EVP just with the It's more about broadly how the organization we were just talking about like I shared so one of the teammates just commented it's so broad. So we were discussing how we relate to how we come to metrics. So I'm saying that's not just linked to general intelligence, after onboarding the life cycle,
Right.
yeah. What else should we also try to elaborate on top of that?
Which factor or factors
Okay, recently.
because of things attracting and fulfilling staff.
Well, to be really honest, most of the time when we sell our opportunity, then we usually resonate with those early inhabitants. So we are in the big four industries. Then we always highlight that we are yes, and how from the market candidates who are already resident programs, they also have that idea or that sort of DNA embedded in their mindset that oh yes, we are people because I'm not sure it's about a brand, the color is yellow and gray, about some more cold blood color like blue, so that the reason of the image or something. And also some candidates find that there are lots of hierarchies in other organizations while we are, although we have laid out different ways, the way we communicate among different labels that we are on more flexible. Yes, so that's something I guess salute to the branding team, what they've been giving information to the general market. Or maybe from your perspective, you are also from a very similar industry, so what you feel, what generation like Yes, we do. Yes, we do like those like milestone for fundraising, and also to those we do go to those less privileged
I think one of the good shouts about speech is very different, right? You might advertise
But I guess
your employer
I
brand
think all elements
still seems to be etc.
Give a definitely said that they're so busy and yeah, so how can you this way
well, we actually use a top-down approach. So first of all, we have to make sure our partners, we know we are a partnership, so we make sure our partners have that.
All right, there we go.
You know, that.
So there's a bit of discussion there.
And somehow we
So,
also
as we discussed, hopefully someone in your team is willing to share. We'll start here. We'll start over here. So, we've got a microphone. Sure. Yeah, volunteer. Thank you very much. So maybe you can share a bit about the discussion that.
Yeah, so we have go through our organization, what are the selling point and what are the, like, we are more focusing on the millennial, like the Gen Y generation. So as most of them are, most of the talent pool consists of like Gen Y people right now, so we're considering what are the like attraction point for them as an employer, how can we attract those people. So we have selected 3 points, so actually 4. So career progression, work-life balance, recognition and reward, and also team and culture. So those will be quite a few of the key attraction points for the Gen Y generation right now. So we haven't quite nailed down to what kind of message that we have, but those are the categories that we think are very important for the message.
Thank you. And career progression, that's an interesting one because certainly, you know, for some people they join a business with a view for career progression within the company, whereas especially in certain generations now it's a view to, well, what can I get out of this for the next year that I can get into somewhere else? So, you know, that's probably got a different story for different businesses there. So thank you. Okay. All right, we'll go over here now. Who would like to put their hand up? Thank you.
So actually, I just shared with the team about the EVP of my company. So I'm from UI. so one of the big four firms, and we do have an EVP that's whenever you join, however long you stay, the exceptional UI experience will last a lifetime. So it's really important to have that exceptional experience. So we focus on storytelling, focus on giving a really fantastic experience to our employees. So I think it covers most of the aspects of community support, team and culture, and also operating style. So first of all, about community support, so we do have set aside a specific CSR team, so doing all the corporate services for give an example, for fundraising marathon, or also we have some teammates who will go to China in those less privileged provinces to do some charity work. And we also have the team and culture from the sense that we have different network within the firm to engage our staff members, we have our cross-generation, LGBT, so we community, and also we have professional women's network and cross-generation network, etc. And then from an operating style, so we are set as global, but somehow we also empower the local team to make their own decisions. So people can really encourage creativity, and people can really be like themselves when they work in UI.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll go over here now. Who's volunteering? Thank you.
So I just talk about the EDP from our company's perspective. For us, because we're a larger organization, and we're globally across 40 plus countries. So we generally have a bigger problem of targeting a larger audience across a larger age group also. And we do have programs across multiple of these areas. I'll just pick up three that came up to our mind. One of them that we truly feel is very important for us as a group is community support. We have very big initiatives across the globe also, and within each of the local countries also that we do in terms of community support. There's a very big organization within Cambodia, it's called Cambodian Children's Fund. We partner with them very closely, and every year or every alternate year, we have a huge bunch of people who actually go down to Cambodia, spend a month or so over there with the fund people, reaching out to communities, helping children, helping people. That is one of the larger projects that we do. But apart from that, also we have local, country-wise, localized community engagement initiatives. We also have a lot of work-life balance in terms of we have gym facilities, and because that is also used as an attraction point for millennials, etc. But we don't just target the millennials, we also have certain fitness programs which are very important for our leaders. We also have certain programs catered to the senior leaders of the company to in turn promote the wellness across the senior people also. And other than this, something operating between team and culture and operating style is something that we eagerly promote as internal mobility. A lot of our employees move a lot between different countries also, so we promote internal mobility to make sure that we're accessing our talent properly. We promote that a lot. We also recently have started making our offices extremely open because we're a very big organization, so we have a lot of hierarchies. To break down those hierarchies, we also started promoting this open office culture, which we want a lot of the leaders and a lot of the junior people also to embrace as we go along.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, the big table here. Who's over here?
Thank you. For our table, we restricted with one particular category, and we brainstormed on 3 different ideas on how we would be able to structure an EVP around that particular thing. Now, this is on work-life balance. Now, this is something that resonates well within the Hong Kong market, at least that's what I feel, heading employer branding for Asia Pacific for my organization. And the 3 different segments that will really sell in the work-life balance areas. Number 1, flexible working hours, because a lot of people in Hong Kong tend to put long working hours, but really giving flexible working hours pretty much help them to maintain a proper work-life balance. Work-life balance is another thing that is picking up well, not just in Hong Kong but across the region. And the third one is something that we offer within our company, which is called as advanced annual leaves. Though the statutory requirement in Hong Kong is 7 days, most companies offer 12 to 13 days on an average on annual leaves. But if you look at a lot of new joiners joining a company, they don't have leaves or sufficient leaves for the first 6 months to a year. So if we are giving an advanced annual leave option and subsequently deducted as and when the leave gets credited, people are going to be more happier as they settle into your organization. So that's another thing that I wanted to talk about from a work-life balance perspective. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. And last but not least, who's talking over here? Does everyone put their hands up at one time? Got no volunteer ones? Go on.
So for us, what's most important is the work-life balance. So similar to what the other group said, we talked about flexibility in the workplace. So it's something also my company recently implemented, where we have flexi working hours and flexi working from home. So today, this morning, I've been practicing it, since it started. So it gives me more flexibility to do things at 1 in the morning. It could be going to the gym or sorting out my house, that sort of things. Yeah. So that was one that we discussed that was important to us.
Great, thank you. I'm interested in the work-life balance. One of my colleagues in his client group, they've rebranded working from home as focus days, on the view that you get more done quite often and there's less distractions. So they tried to shift the dynamic from the idea of, some places the idea of working from home, everyone goes, oh yeah, but it's moving into that focus day, saying, well actually, the thing we all know, quite often you work from home, you get a lot more done in a shorter period of time without the distractions being work. So different lenses to put on it. So that's kind of it. I've heard some great things. What I would encourage you, the next phase, if you were running an EVP process, is taking some of the things we've just discussed, which are in some cases benefits, you could call them, or factors, and it's then boiling them down into succinct messaging. So how do you then start to create a persona for your company that links into these things, whether it is flexibility, or whether it is career progression, or whether it's feeling that you can be your best at your company. So really, if we were running that process, that would be the next stage we take that to. So that's me and Michelle. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. And I'll hand it back.
Great, thank you both. And thanks for all the great participation. I think that's the one thing. It sometimes might take us about 30 seconds to have that first person get going, but the conversations that I'm hearing at the tables are really good. So I appreciate that. It's a big part of the output based on the input you've had today. If you did take notes and you're willing to leave those with me on the tables, we'll collect those so that I can compile, and anything that we do compile we'll have available to all of our attendees post-event. And now is, so as you're gathering things up and whatnot, we're going to move to the awards presentation. And that's going to take place in this room, just in the back of this room. So you may have seen the bar being set up. So they're ready for us. So I'm going to invite you to get up and walk to the back of the room, have a glass of beer or wine if you desire, as well as some starters, appetizers. And in about 15 minutes, I'll be back up to announce the award categories, and I will present the winner in each of those categories. So enjoy some conversation with your peers, and thank you all for a great day. And we'll be with you in just about 15 minutes.